Hi, I'm Seal DeGuglielmo, librarian at the Curtains and Soft Furnishings Resource Library. As a Pro Plus member of the library, you can watch this video advertisement-free and talk to industry professionals in our online forum. Visit the library to learn more about starting or growing a business using your creative sewing skills. See you at the library.
Ready to start the next stage, which is the pin fit for the rest of the slipcover. Yeah. And so it's good to, as you establish a routine for slipcovering, it's good to do the cushions first, especially if there is a pattern you're trying to place, because those determine the boxing, and the boxing determines this piece. So it's nice to have the cushions done so you're not guessing the placement of the cushions after you've already put these in. So that's why we did it in that sequence. With the back cushions, as we place the design, we do not have to try to make it flow from here to here. Meaning, we're not going to try and have this building continue up into this cushion. It's more important that we kind of place a thing rather than have it look like, because they just kind of thing, right? And that's true on any chair. You've got like a wing chair, you've got back, you've got the seat. You want to place something mindfully and place something mindfully. You're not trying to have it continue exactly like you do here. Okay. That, you know what I mean? It's the vertical continuation that you don't need to worry about. Okay? So, let me also just point out here with the cushions, this gap here, that's because we removed the bed from the sofa bed to make it easier to transport, right? And so once the bed mattress is back in there, these will actually, you'll have to lift this up to slide these in, and that will be its proper placement. So don't worry about all that. Okay. So let's take a look at the nose. We need to create this few inches of fabric. Okay. Enough that it falls back here so that we can either Velcro it or twist pin it to the inside here. Okay. And then we also need to look at these three sections of fabric and how they might flow with this. Let's focus on this first. Okay. Focus on the nose.
Yeah. I was thinking about this pattern match to here, and I'm
the flow.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm guessing that we'll take these cushions to the fabric and plan the cut the same way we did from here to here.
Very nice. Yeah, good thinking. Yeah. So that's exactly what I usually do. Rather than bringing the fabric to the sofa, right? I usually drape the fabric over the edge of the table and then keep sliding it until the pattern flows right to the edge of this cushion. Okay. Okay, so we'll do that. That's great thinking. Yeah. Looks like we've got wood about 2 inches down. That's probably staple Velcro, or at least twist it. I'm not sure. But let's allow ourselves a good 2 inches beyond. And then we really are looking at only an 8-inch cut. The welt place above the skirt, I don't like to put it on top of the other welt. I like to go up at least 3/4 of an inch, which means that that's a good place to cut the fabric. Okay. And then the welt placement is up from that. Okay. Okay? So we need an 8-inch strip. Does that sound good, Winston? An 8-inch strip that's pattern matched to flow from the cushion. Okay, and the reason why it's good to do this kind of on the edge of the table is because we're not trying to necessarily have this matched there to there, because there usually is a little bit of a gap, you know, on the sofa itself. It's really just about lining it up so that when you're looking down this way, it looks like you made an attempt. Right? So I think for this to look right, we really don't want to see this and that again, right? So let's slide it up. We usually want to see the tail of that. Maybe a little more even? No, no, we don't see any of it, so let's see back there. I want to see the tail. There we go. Okay, on the sofa, that was pretty good, right?
Great.
Okay, so let's use purple marking pen and make some markings. Yes, we got it. Get back to the corner of the nose. Right in front corner of the nose. So I took a little bite there, right? And so this is really where we want it to fall off. And we said it was 8-inch strip, but you know what I didn't notice is it's 8 inches, but how much of it is before the rollover and how much is after. So we'll have our welt here, 3/4 out, this will be our cut, and then this is going to extend back 8 inches. The corner of it is right there. It's a little more than 2 inches.
Okay.
So we want our cut there's our cut line,
Okay.
and then we only need 8 inches beyond that. Okay, so this is the center cushion. So one thing we might want to ask ourselves is, you know, do we really need to cut and extend? If this is the continuation, we might be able to, let's see, this would need this cushion. And see where, you know what? I think, yeah, and this is what I would do. I think, again, it's not going to be perfect because there's gaps and things. So what I would do is I would just slide this over a hair and take a little tuck. So we take a little stitch there just to make it look like there was a seam, right? And then we will have a seam here because we're going to continue the pattern over on this side.
Okay.
Does that sound like a plan?
Yes.
So we'll take a little nip right here at this. And we'll just take about a 1/2 inch out.
Okay.
And then that'll just slide this over, you know, about 1/2 inch. And look at that, then these will line up. Okay? And then on this side, we'll just extend to the piece that would hang on to here. So we can do all that work on the table.
Okay.
Okay, let's go clear that. Now we're upside down, but we have our markings, so we should be okay. Okay, let's get this on the table. And let's take this fold and what I'm trying to do is, yeah, there we go. Can you fold it at that point? You can just pull that pin. There you go. And let's line it up to a straight edge. This one, there we go. You want to smooth out what's underneath? Okay, so we need 2 inches, well, it was like 2 1/4, but that's the line right there, right?
Yep.
So we'll cut that. If you're not comfortable freehanding it, you can draw up a straight edge. So looks good to me. And we want to make sure we don't lose that. And then the whole thing needed to be 8, right? So we can drop this forward, line it up to a grid, and then we want 8. So that's at 7, so 1 past 7. we'll be taking a little piece right here. Right, that's going to be our faux seam. We can remove those. And you're just going to stitch a 1/4 inch in there. But on this side, let's go ahead and find, the pattern match wouldn't be in this section. Let's find it in another section. Do you want to try and use a scrap?
We could.
We could see. Might get lucky. Let's see what's happening over there. So we're looking for that symbol. You see that symbol? That.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Look at that. Yay, we can use a scrap. Can we use a scrap? Yes, we just made it. That never happens. But that is, we want to go to there. Okay, let's think about this. We need to find that same thing because we want our seam to be here, right? Not halfway into the cushion.
Right.
So we need to find where this is, somewhere in here. So we're not so lucky after all. It's here.
No,
I don't think it's in this piece. Yeah, we're not so lucky. Okay. But we can use that somewhere else. Let's turn this around. Keep it upside down. Okay, now let's look at this one more time. Now we're going to have to flip it because we're upside down. Okay. So we're looking, yeah, so where in the middle of the fabric is this? There's the girl. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, we don't have to waste too much because we need this. We need the pattern match seam there. Having the pattern match seam there, probably wouldn't have noticed. It's such a short segment, and if you were short on fabric, I'd let that happen. But we're not short on fabric, right? So we can have a seam in an intentional spot, splitting each cushion. And so let's flip this back and find the pattern match, and that looks good. And if we want to see if we want to take anything out of it, we can slide this over. And let's see, that would be, there's that girl, right? I think we'll take the same 1/2 inch out. Yeah, we just cut it and stitch a little bit in. So instead of stitching right on this crease, we'll stitch a 1/4 inch in from that. Okay, so let's cut this first. So that would be the exact placement. This is the line, that's the seam line. We're actually going to have the seam come in a 1/4 inch and a 1/4 inch on this, so that we've cut out a 1/2 inch. Okay, and when that happens, then there we go. I'm going to, let's see, this strip's not going to be helpful to us, so I'll cut that this way. Do you see how motifs that need to be pattern matched or designs that need to be pattern matched can take 3 times longer than just a solid?
Indeed.
Yeah.
So how do you
It's a
accommodate
challenge.
that when you were talking with your client?
There are different methods. Well, first of all, I wouldn't even talk to the client about it, right? This is basically in your own policies and procedures. Do you have a different pricing depending on whether it is something to pattern match or not? And most slipcover makers that I know, first of all, have perfected techniques, so it doesn't take always 3 times as long, right? So they get a little more comfortable with it. It does take longer, and most approach it like you win some, lose some. Like your average pricing accounts for it, but, and then when you have the occasional solid fabric and you don't have to be that particular, you just have a really profitable slipcover, and then when it's not, you don't have a very profitable slipcover, but you still have a slipcover. So that's one way to approach it. The other thing to consider is if you are retail and you're selling the fabric as well, it doesn't matter, because if there's a big repeat, they have to buy more fabric from you. So if you're wholesale, you kind of need to figure out the win some, lose some technique, because a designer coming to you is not going to want to have to know what the fabric is before they have a general idea of what you were going to charge. You know, they need to have that flexibility to switch it out and not be like, oh, this is a whole different game, right? So that's how we handle it. Okay, so let's open this up. So if we stitch there, good shape. Well, it's not exactly pattern match, but it is. Taking that little 1/4 inch bite out, which took out that extra 1/2 inch. What that 1/2 inch is, I don't know if you noticed, but what that 1/2 inch is kind of allowing for, see the waste that's happening because of the crown of the piece? Yeah. This basically is taking that little bite out to account, because on this area there's no crown, it's just that straight bar. Yep. Okay, you can head to the machine and prepare these pieces, and then we'll move on. Now what we're going to do, because we do this whole thing in reverse, right? So we want to mark, just put a pin if this is going to fold and hit the welt. Just secure that. And the seam is a little bit outside of that center panel. Okay. Okay, we're fine. We don't even need to do it. I'll just hold it. Okay, now we're going to flip it. I like to put them, let's see, is that taking it to the right spot? Oh, not quite. Yeah, there we go. So push pins in, back out, and down in. Yeah, just so you don't hurt yourself, right? And we'll flip this excess. I usually just walk off. You only have about 2 inches of play. Now the skirt panels we'll do after the slipcover is stitched together, and we'll do them on the table. So we're not up and down trying to do it. Because really the skirt panels are just a continuation of these same pieces, and it's much easier to do up on the table, like if you were cutting a pillow.
Okay.
And so this is it for pattern matching for now. Let's so lop off about, so you only have about 2 inches left. That's good. Okay, and we'll drop these down again so that we can use them and be mindful of them as we place pattern, because we've got a seam here that we want to make sure doesn't repeat right here. You know, we don't, it'd be kind of okay if it was here or if it was here. We kind of want to mix things up a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so let's also, we'll keep in mind here with this that because there's such a indent here, we're not going to get the pattern like we can with the cushion where it's a continuation, right?
Yeah.
It's really, you're kind of not even going to notice that because there's so much that tucks back in. We're not going to see a beautiful connection there. So really it's just aesthetically what looks best.
Okay.
And we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of exact placement for these bathrooms.
Okay.
Okay.